Graham Vincent, Violinmaker, musician, and gigging again. Tonight we're in Norwich, and Andy Parish has just turned up with a violin he's made, and I thought it'd be really interesting for everyone to actually just have a quick chat with Andy, because I mean, you will probably remember he was on a video we did a while back.
January.
Was it January?
Yeah.
Where I had a really good look at Andy's first violin. I don't know what's happened since then, but we're on to number 5, 4?
Oh, yeah, but we are practicing, but yeah.
But
Practice makes perfect, maybe,
well,
sometimes.
Andy's whistling through them, so I mean, we're not going to have a really good look at this, but what we are going to do is I just want to ask you, what have you learned doing these first few? What has been the important things that you've learned that you think people want to hear?
Okay, I think probably the most important thing that I've learned is that don't expect to get it right first time.
Yeah.
It is practice, but it's also practice with learning.
Yeah.
It's all right just steaming ahead and making thousands of violins,
Yeah.
but if through that process you don't learn anything, then you'll just keep making ornaments.
And from what I've seen as well, what I do like about what Andy's doing, which is not dissimilar in many ways to what I've done, and that is Andy is not afraid to experiment. So I think it's interesting, the first 2, 3, you did the same thing and they got better and better. And what we've seen now is number 4, 5,
yeah,
which has got an oak front as well. So it's a real experiment. And sound-wise, I have to say, you know this, we've moved back a notch.
Yes.
But in terms of what Andy's learning, we've leapt forward, I feel. So.
Yeah, and I think absolutely, and the thing about weight and the thing about thickness is, as a complete amateur maker, and you know, is something that I'm learning about. Yeah. But it's something that on this one we haven't really quite got there yet.
No, we haven't. I was suggesting to Andy that he actually takes the front off this one and thickness is down the front. I don't know whether you're going to do that or whether you're going to just try the next one.
I'll actually, it might be practice to get the front off one.
Well, that's another skill. It's very useful, to be honest. So I mean, normally I kind of think a granary generally comes in 360 grams upwards, up to about sort of 390. The average for a Strad, I think, is 420 grams, as far as I remember. The lightest one I think I've ever made, no, I'm going to ignore the 2 balsa wood ones that I made, but the lightest one I've made using traditional materials was 349 grams, which sounded, I have to say, it sounded bloody marvellous. And at this moment in its development, that particular one weighs...
It's a rather obese 700 grams.
Yeah, so...
But, as you said earlier, it's got the scroll on it is like a shillelagh.
Yeah, it's got a few grams on the top that could go. There's, I mean, to actually... The neck, for me, needs a bit of refinement. Even that, you'd lose a few. Yeah. But I think a lot of the weight feels like it's in the front and the back. Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. And also, losing the weight in the front and the back should increase the volume.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So yeah.
But I mean, it looks lovely. So
I'm more than happy with if you like, with the finish and things like that. I mean, the shape could do with a bit more refinement, and you know. But I guess it's a bit like I said to you earlier. It's a bit like when you start painting paintings. Yeah. You're never going to paint a perfect picture to start with. No. You've got to just keep painting and believe that you may get there one day.
That was exactly the approach that I took, really. and even, you know, now I you know, when I finished a fiddle, I stop and I look at it and think, what do I like about it? What do I not like about it? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? And you know, you've got to keep trying to learn, haven't you?
And I'm really enjoying the process.
Well, that's a pretty important thing as well. If you're doing this for a hobby, enjoy it.
Yes.
Except I have a sneaky suspicion that Andy might have other ideas for where this is leading him, which might involve people giving him money for violins in the future at some stage.
Yeah, we've got to be able to make one that actually.
You know.
But we're getting there.
You're going in the right direction.
I think, and you know, going back to it, the concept of an oak front is a real. Let's have a go and see if we can get it to work, and if we can get it to work, then it'll be brilliant. If we can't get it to work, we've sort of proved the oak backs and sides work.
Yes, absolutely.
With the first one. Yeah. So I'm more than happy to keep having a go at the concept, because if it does work, then...
I mean, we were just talking about this a little moment ago, and basically I've made, we worked out 5 violins with hardwood fronts. There were 2 balsa wood ones, which were incredibly light, and sounded pretty good, it has to be said. There were 2 limewood ones, which were pretty good. And then there was a Spanish cedar one, which was exceptional, I would say. I think that was my favourite, really. And I was very sad to sell that one, but there we go.
Yeah.
So, any other lessons? What else have you, where do you think you're improving, and where do you think you need improvement?
I think it's just a practice, and I think it certainly corners. I'm happy with purfling. I'm still not happy with this shape.
Yeah.
And where the groove falls on the purfling.
Yeah.
I think I've still got that to pick up.
Yeah.
But it is just this practice thing.
It is. And every single one gets better and better, doesn't it?
So one thing I did learn was sharp tools, and again, you shouldn't need to learn this one, but boy, they make a difference.
Sharp tools are, I mean, I keep banging on about this in my videos. They're just, you're wasting your time.
My thumb planes, and it was like, I had a thumb plane that I thought, well, it's useless, that it doesn't work. And then I thought, well, why is it not working? And actually, I realised that it wasn't working because the cutting edge, underneath the cutting edge, was slightly bowed. So every time you put it on, that was touching first. So to rock it forward.
Exactly as per my video.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is one that I see so often. It just comes up again and again and again.
If they're not flat, if they're slightly curved, you have to increase that. And
as soon as you find that you've sharpened something in a way that it keeps the cutting edge off the piece of wood, it isn't going to work.
No. And the difference between it might well be sharp on a piece of paper, but the difference between a correctly sharp
if it doesn't touch the wood, then you're wasting your time.
It just skids across the top.
Absolutely.
I'm really enjoying the process.
Good.
And the finishing, I'm quite enjoying. So we've gone to, this is French polish now. The first one was a bit out there. I don't know if you remember what
it was. I'm going to say it was Brywax.
It was.
Yeah, it was a bit of an ad hoc. You wanted to get that one finished, whatever it took, and that's. I think that's completely laudable, to be honest.
But
sorry about the camera shaking around the place. I'm holding it in my hand rather than on my fancy little tripod thing. So.
Yeah, I've gone to French polish now, which is a completely more traditional method, I think, and again, learning that process is, and I'm getting there with that. That's
cool.
But really enjoying it still.
Yeah. Superb. Anyway, look, I can hear people starting to come into the room by the look of it. So this is where we are tonight. This is in Norwich. Wow, look at this building. Fantastic, isn't it? So we're set up there. In about half an hour, I shall be playing music. So, thank you, Andy.
Thank you
That's
very
brilliant.
much,
Really enjoyed that.
Really enjoyed the feedback as well.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming. See ya. Look after yourselves, folks. Bye.